Welcome to this podcast from the Human Capital Institute's Turning Analytics into Action webcast sponsored by Taleo. Are the business and talent metrics that you report used to drive management action-related behavior change and results? Gene Pease, founder, CEO, and president of Capital Analytics, and his colleague Bonnie Beresford, vice president of client services, recently discussed the power of human capital analytics to elevate learning in a recent webcast underwritten by Taleo.
So this is there's been a number of studies over the last 5 years about what is important to measure and what is currently being measured. And this is the most latest poll from ASTD that just came out early this year. And the red bar is a survey that was given to, I think, 1,000 learning executives and said what matters to be measured. And the gray bar, the second lower bar, is really the results of what you're currently doing. And the trend is still the same. Companies are saying they really need to be getting to behavior results and ROI, but they're doing, frankly, very little of that way to do this. So I'll turn the presentation over to Bonnie, who will talk now about where all this statistics fits in with the current methodology.
Thank you, Gene. The idea of trying to get to wisdom, I think, is really what we're all about when it comes to measuring. I mean, we do it for a reason. We want to get smarter. We want to make better decisions. And we have to start somewhere. And Donald Kirkpatrick gave us a pretty good foundation for evaluating learning, starting with, and many of you are probably familiar with Kirkpatrick's 4 levels here. We threw level 0 at the bottom, which is throughput. That means how many people have been through your initiatives? How many people are you reaching? And it's kind of a base metric that you really do need to track, because if you think it's mandatory training or a mandatory compliance thing, you need to get 100% of where we've been. But as we think about what Gina just talked about, wanting to move to wisdom, we start looking at the top end of that scale, where we're looking at people wanting to get more to the impact, the ROI, and the optimization. There for a reason. The level 1 reaction, a lot of folks I'm hearing are saying, oh gosh, do I really need to do that? Should I do it for 100% of my activities? Maybe I should just jump right to business impact. Well, I want to caution you on that, because if people don't like the course or don't like the initiative you have going, they don't like the mentoring program or whatever, it would be good to know that before you go and try and measure business impact. If the activities in the course are not applicable to my job, then we better fix that rather than wait to measure business impact 6 months from now and hope that it made an impact. So level 1 gives you that immediate feedback, some instant feedback into the quality of your intervention, so you can make some immediate adjustments and be sure that you're giving yourself the best fighting chance of making business impact. The level 2 is your learning gain, kind of the pre and post test, and did folks learn? This is where it gets a little bit tricky, because this is looking at on-the-job behaviors, and this can be kind of costly to do when you're wanting to see if somebody has implemented whatever the course was intended to do. If it's leadership development kind of activities, boy, to go and watch somebody on the job is kind of tough. Sometimes this could be like a 360, or it could be on-the-job observation. Level 4 is where we start getting into that impact. Is it making a difference? What kinds of business impacts are we? Level 5 is the one that was introduced by Jack Phillips and kind of builds on the Kirkpatrick model, and that's the ROI, looking at the cost versus the benefit of an intervention. It does provide proof, but it does not really provide a lot of insight in terms of what you should do for impact. So I'm going to introduce a new term here, which is level 6. And whether it's really a level 6 or not is up in the air, but it's this natural evolution of where the analytics are going to that optimization or that wisdom, that predictive analytics that the scholars are now talking about, to know where the investment is working for different types of people so that you can optimize it. So again, when we're talking about advanced analytics, typically what we've seen companies doing is we have the performance of the trained versus the performance of the untrained. And that is well and good, but if you don't isolate it, you're going to have some credibility problems in claiming the total benefit is related to training or to the human capital investment, whatever it may be. So by putting the advanced analytics on top of this impact metric, we can get to this isolation.